Good afternoon. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to present the program. Fair carbon. So first, what is a PEPR? PEPR is a program, is for Programme d'équipement prioritaire de recherche. It's a program to improve research skills and infrastructures in a priority area as decided by the government. And then you have a scientific jury, and you can be selected. CNRS and NRA decided to go together to propose something on carbon in continental ecosystems, and asked Sylvie Recaux and myself to coordinate the answer on this topic. So we wrote Fair Carbon with the help of lots of colleagues, and we are eventually selected in the first phase of the paper call for proposal. And the program was funded for 6 years with a budget of 40 million euros. What is the pitch of Fair Carbon? The pitch is that to better assess and predict the possible contribution of continental ecosystem to climate neutrality, we have several things. First, we have some improvement to make to understand the key processes governing carbon dynamics in continental ecosystems and their response to climate change. We also lack of data. We lack of validated model able to predict carbon stock evolutions with time in continental ecosystems. And we also need methods to involve stakeholders. And we propose several tools to work on all these questions through two types of actions. A call for proposals, so bottom-up approach, and also targeted projects that are more top-down approaches. So regarding the key processes, we have distinguished 4 different axes. The first one regards the key processes governing carbon transfer and storage along the land-sea continuum. Then there is the second axis, which is the coupling of biogeochemical cycles in the context of global change. The third one is the expansion of plant biomass production and biomass use. And then the fourth one on economics and social issues called drivers and impacts of changes. So for these 4 axes, we launched a call for proposal with a first step is a letter of intention, and then the people got the feedback. And we expect the final proposals for December the 5th. And then an international jury will rank the proposals, and the results will come up probably by the end of February or the beginning of March. Then we have some targeted projects. The 3, 4, and 5 targeted projects are designed to support infrastructures. For the PC3, PC is stands for projet ciblé, but it's the target project. So the idea is to improve the coverage of flux towers in the global south, and especially in Africa. This target project will be is led by the ERD, with also a strong contribution of the CIRAD, and they are working on it. And the idea is to launch new flux tower and also to improve some of the existing facilities, and it will concern between 10 to 15 flux tower sites in the global south. For the PC4, the idea is to connect some trials on cultural systems, and in north and the south. So it will be led by the CIRAD, and it will involve sites from mainland France, but also from overseas, and also in the foreign countries, in contribution with the partners of the CIRAD and the ERB. And the PC5, the idea is to support monitoring sites along the long sea continuum, and it will be in close interaction with the OSCAR research infrastructures. So these three PC are for the support to infrastructures. And then we have the PC1, and I will enter in more details in the PC1. The PC1, the general title is towards models validated and stocks. And because we observe that very few models are actually validated on carbon stock evolution measurements in the soil and the biomass. And the problem is for some of them is the lack of data to validate such model, because it's not very easy to have a measurement of the carbon stock evolution between you need about 5 to 10 years before you can see something on the stock. And it's not that easy to measure carbon stock as well. So it's not easy to have such kind of data, especially if you want to have also evolution in the aerial part. So it's a really a problem to have that many data with this coverage. And even though for the sites where we can have data, we are not done, because you can see here the evolution, soil carbon stock evolution, the yearly carbon stock evolution in the Rhône Ecoforest. So it's a network in the French forest. We have 100 sites across France, and you see the observation with an evolution of the soil organic carbon stock across 15 years. And then a group of French modelers tried to model this evolution using the YASO model. And you can see there that the problem of missing data is not the only problem. In the model itself, we have also problem because they were not able to reproduce the evolution of soil organic carbon stocks. So the objective of this targeted project is to create, in fact, it's not a database, it's a data portal on the evolution of carbon stock in soil and plant biomass by using all the data we can collect from French infrastructure and monitoring networks, and then to use that to foster the creation of a new generation of models. So it will be conducted in close collaboration and with the help of lots of people, and from the research infrastructure, of course, and also all the group of modelers across France. More specifically, the idea is to identify all the sites and network we can have in this network, and to add some data we can collect from the if we need the climate data, for instance, to have an interface with the data from Safran, for instance. And also, if we want to complement the database, we can also use data that can be derived from remote sensing products and so on. Then we will put all this stuff in a data portal operated by MAE. Then it can give some data sets for modeler, and we organize a model intercomparison to work on the results, and then eventually to try to develop new models or to improve the existing models. And then the last targeted project, so it's the Projet Ciblé 2. The idea is to work at the scale of a territory and to develop the MyLIA platform, which is an integrated assessment model operating at the scale of a territory. And the MyLIA can model all the bioeconomy sector of a territory, typically communauté de communes, so several dozens to hundreds of square kilometers. And once MyLIA will be improved, the idea is to use this improved modeling platform to build scenario labs. It means that Scientists will work with stakeholders in selected territories to make an assessment of the bioeconomy sector at the scale of the territory, and then to discuss about the scenario that are projected by the policymakers, and to evaluate and co-interpret this scenario using the media platform. So 6 scenario labs have been selected. You have 4 in mainland France, 2 in the east part of France, 1 in Brittany, 1 in the Mediterranean area, and 1 in La Réunion, so in overseas, and 1 in Senegal, in collaboration with Ireland. Okay, so here's the general organization of Fair Carbon and the funding. The idea is that even though we have various tools with the call for proposals and all the target projects, the idea is that we can have some discussion and complementarities according all these projects within this program. You can see an attempt of the kind of collaboration, correlation we can have between this action. And there also be some budget for dissemination, workshop organization, and also some grants to have some researcher coming to France and some researcher from France going outside, and also for communication. As you have seen, there are, of course, some complementarities to have with Ceylon. So it's something that would be of great interest for Fair Carbon, of course, and of course, there are some people in Ceylon that are also contributing for Fair Carbon, and clearly we can work on some joint projects in the framework of the Ceylon and the Fair Carbon programs, and something that, of course, we will be happy to discuss. So thanks for your attention.
I have a question. Looking at the budget you have for the part which is on project, it's like 15 million euros. And is this all in the first call that is already launched? Like you will have 10 projects at 1.5 million each, or you will have a second round in the 6 years for another wave of projects?
Yeah. For the first wave, it will be 11 euros maximum. And then we have at least 4 million euros left. And we have a second wave that can be, it's not decided yet what it will be. It can be to, maybe we will see that we have big trou dans la raquette, and then use that to target and probably can.
Yes, because okay, with 11 million, you will have let's say 11 projects, all nice and fancy and well evaluated. But how do you make sure after they are accepted or after enough time that this is first of all that they will give the data and the results? Do they have to sign a policy for that? Because in France, project leads are not particularly good to share data. I realize that. What is the mechanism so that they will be obliged to, or they will be incentivized to share data? Yes. And what was my other question? I don't remember.
So you mean for the open project or for the targeted projects?
For the open one. For the targeted project, I suppose you can have some control, and but for the open ones, how do you make sure that you have a nice project on wetlands? And will there be like if the project is selected, will there be a database where they have to give the data and some people who can really see, okay, yes, we have all the data and the other results, or it's just like a classical project where people.
Yes, it's something we have to pay attention, and because they will have to design a data management plan,
Okay.
and maybe it can be discussed at that stage. But, yeah, you're right. That's something that we have to consider. Regarding the targeted projects, the rule is that it should be open. But it's not because it's the rule that it's done, but we'll try to make it.
Well, it's a problem because we collect a lot of data, but sometimes some organizations, they are really, you go on the website and you find all the data. Sometimes you don't find anything. So
Yeah.
it's a little,
I think that there are two kinds of ways of not giving the data. It can be an active one, retaining data, or a passive one, just not taking time to share the data. And in the targeted project, we'll allocate resources to make the go-between the data portal on the sites and networks. Because we think that if we don't have that, the passive retention of the data it will be a problem.
What is your strategy for the targeted projects on EI?
The strategy, so it's Olivier Théron and Bernard Querec and Laurie Allen, I think, that are in charge of the PC2, and they are discussing, and they are close to the finalization of this PC2. But if you are interested in that PC, you can contact Olivier Théron and Bernard Querec.
You have an idea of the type of methodology that you will use? Tools?
In Maïlia, you mean? They are developing the Maïlia platform, and I think that the idea it's you have various models in Maïlia that are working together. So I think that they will improve some of the bricks, maybe add some bricks for the stuff that are not taken into account in Maïlia. So it's a monetization platform for a multi-agent.
It's agent based.
I don't know exactly. There is a web page with Maïlia. I don't know if it's agent based because they model all the territory, the grassland, the croplands, and the biomass fluxes within the territory, and then they make grow plans depending on the weather and the inputs and the propagation.
So it's pure biophysical model.
Yes, but they are trying to add something more relying on socioeconomic aspects. But I don't know where they are. Okay, maybe you have more information.
No. I was wondering if it is at the scale of France.
Maïlia?
All the projects and all the data.
Yeah, that depends. Maïlia, they work at the scale of territory which has a beginning in France, but not the other part of the world. It's several dozens of square kilometers. But then they are also working on the Maïlia operating at a larger scale. It's Laurie Allen, which is working on that at the scale of France or Europe.
Integrated assessment model usually are global models.
Yeah. So it's an EIM operating at a smaller scale. but it would be interesting to have the various scales and to discuss on that. Yes, they will have a PG funded in, but in within the different projects. So for the open project, people can ask for PG grants and so on, and the same for targeted projects. So